with top policymakers and decision makers in Anambra State as we address issues shaping our collective progress. Today we delve into a critical topic that holds immense potential for economic transformation right here in Anambra State, and that is the progress in solid minerals and petroleum development right here in Anambra State. My name is Priska Wanko. Welcome to the program and happy new months.
Mambo onyeka chukwu gochukwu bwana natakwa gị na bike mmemme nke anyị na-eme kwa Thursday ọbụla nke anyị na-enye gị ohere iji wee jụọ ajụjụ n'ọrụ dị iche iche nke a na-alụ n'ime steeti a efu na ọkwụrụ chinchin n'ebe ọ kwụsịrị nọ na nke tata anyị na-anabatakwazi onye nke ga-esokwazi wee dowe okwu agba bụ onye nke nwere bike mmemme n'onwe ya bụ High Chief Dr. Lome for PhD Commissioner na-afụ maka ozi na Anambra State. Anyị na-asị gị nnọọ n'ihe mmemme
na-adalụ nwanne m ndị Anambra ekene m unu nke onye chi nyazelu unu ọgwụ happy new month ka m nụ almost chukwu na ya efu ọnwa anụnwa anyị afụ end of this year anyị aba 2026 wee gabaziali n'afọ a Jesu ya adịla anyị mma dene.
All right, and of course, special guest today on the program is Professor Charles Ofoegbu, Managing Director, Anambra State Solid Minerals Development Company, and Chairman, Anambra State Petroleum and Energy Resources Limited. It's our privilege to welcome Professor Charles Ofoegbu to ask the Commissioner. Good afternoon, Prof. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
All the minor of so Chief Amuloni Nego or Camdo Mibo, Ibonine, on so was near my man who's a preacher, Macanas na any moment I came in Libya, not on up to I went on up to who's a preacher, Macambu, I'm on Nibum, the web and Ecuador, so I'm not saying no, Macaman, I guess the quasi will make his when I was in Ibon.
Yes. I'm the Bany Ekenemu Uno. Nke onye chere nye zelo biko oge na anyị ntị n'onu n'ụbọchị nke taa dị ma tata bụ ọpụrụ iche a na-akpa maka akọrọngwa minerals niile dị na Anambra State dịka ọ dị mana anyị chọrọ ka anyị were ọjị bidie in brief ọjị Igbo dị ebe a ma ha ekwupụ ọjị okwu dịka ndị Igbo siri kwado ya mgbe sị na m na-ebetụ tupu awa ọjị ọ dajiri. Che Igbo mmanụ ya rieni ya nwanụ ya na mbụ ndị kwuchara okwu nchasị na-esi n'ọdụ ama ihe dị nkịta mma ụmụ Igbo geenị ntị na anyị abịa kwa nke Igbo ọjị ya Chukwu okike abịa maka echasarị chọọ ya mma jikọ ya ọnụ baa ya ọjị omenala jikọtara Igbo niile etuwa ka ọ dị nyawa ọjị ka nji n'aka wesị na nga wayawa Chukwu okike bịa n'ala anyị ọjị ya ịgọzie ndị enu na ndị a na-ata n'oko anyị bụ ndị ekere eke ata n'ibe onye ọbụla tara ọjị ya ma ndị na-ege anyị ntị n'onu biko onye pụta ụlọ ụtụtụ onye kene Chukwu okike bịa ma n'ọnwa ka wezitela anyị akadia na ọkammụta bụ gọvanọ Chukwuma Soludo maka ndị na-eriberibe na-ekene ribe otuto ribe mbuni enu nụrụ eme ka gọvanọ Soludo bụ ọrụ mmepe n'isi kpara na abụ kwọrụ n'azụ ka Anambra Steeti wee chapụ dịka obodo oyibo etu okwele anya na nkwa mgbe a na-emebu kampen nke gara aga o wee bụrụ na nke bụ eziokwu bụ na Anambra Steeti na-agbanwe n'ike 24 hours ka gọvanọ Soludo na ndị kọmishọnas ya niile na-arụ ọrụ onye pụta ụlọ ụtụtụ onye ka na-echukwu ụmụnne m na anụ geyi ka Chineke nna site n'oji ya nna gọzi wee si tụkwasịra anyị ndụ gọvanọ Soludo tụkwasị ya ndụ n'elu ndụ ngozi n'elu ngozi amala n'elu amala ife akwa bụ ife nwee ka o wee lụrụ ọrụ gaba n'iru maka na elekshọn nke na-abịa na 8 November 2025 ife ọ ga-akụ na data election bụ gịnị gboo ndị niile pụtara ịdọ ya kpati etu a ka fancha ga-esi da gwurugwodogbo maka na Chineke nna ya ekwugo ya de ya n'akwụkwọ saịnụ ndị ga-atụ vootu na-akwadobe ụmụnne m ka anyị were kene ihe ndị sụrụ oyibo si na reward of good work is more works ka ọ na-edekeghị Chineke na n'ala yoji agọzi taa n'uko ka ịta n'ime n'ebata anya tọrọ ogologo dị na-arụ isi ike tara ife akwakwa ife nwe ụmụnne m nyagazie n'ọfọ
ise
yes.
All right, and just to remind you that today we focus our spotlight, just like we highlighted earlier, on progress in solid minerals and the petroleum developments right here in Anambra State. And we still have the MD of Anambra State Solid Mineral Development Company, Professor Charles Ofoegbu, with us here today to give us a brief on how the ministry has fared so far under his leadership. All right, we'll begin the conversation this way to you, Prof. We'd like you to outline the key responsibilities of your office and how it aligns with the broader objectives of Anambra State.
Well, the Anambra State Solid Minerals Development Company was established as a means for achieving and actualizing the solution agenda as it concerns the mineral resources of the state. The idea here is to have a company that's not just mining or digging up the ground, like you see trucks all over the place, but a company that seeks to develop the resources with a view to industrializing the state. So our main objective is to identify, first and foremost, what are the resources in Anambra State? Who owns the resources in Anambra State? How viable are those resources? Economically viable are they? To what extent is their value in terms of quality? And having done that, how do we adopt these resources towards industrialization of the state? That is why we develop. We don't just mine. We don't have, it's called Anambra State Solid Minerals Development Company, not Anambra State Solid Mineral Mining Company. So we go beyond mining and we go towards enhancing the quality, give value to the mineral resources we have after we have identified them, known where they are, and taking possession of them legally, following due process in due process. When I mean due process, I mean the laws of the land. There are laws of the land that determines who owns what under the ground, whether it's petroleum, whether it's solid minerals, and we must follow due process, acquire them and own them, and have the licenses for them, or partner with those who own them and who do not know what to do with them, are abusing them, or those who have not owned them legally and illegally trying to abuse the resources we have. We will try to bring them down to the table and sit with them, and now seek to develop them, give them more value downstreaming, give them more value. Having given them value, seek to tie these resources to industrialization. At the end of the day, have Anambra State fully industrialized, hand in hand with the resources God has given us, and making sure that we take good care of the environment, the community, and everybody.
Okay. Ọ dị mma na-esi etu ọgwa bata maka na sị na atatu akị atatu ụkwa ndị wee bulukpo akwụ n'Igbo bute nwa oyibo ka ọ kwụrụ na-adaba achọrọ nka mmalụ ọkpụrụkpụ ebumnobi strategic vision inwere maka development of mineral resources, petroleum na energy in Anambra State.
The vision I have ties in with the vision of Mr. Governor Udenibo. He identified and he believed that we should look inwards towards the development of the state. Anambra State, let the state have been tied with, sort of associated with trading in all ramifications, but now we want to go beyond that. We want to become so the vision is exploit the mineral resources we have in the state, beneficiate them, improve their quality. Now, based on that, invite and encourage industrialization, invite investors that are now going to build industries, not just cutting them away. You wake up early in the morning, you see trucks damaging our roads, carrying all manner of products. You go to Onitsha beach, the beach is collapsing. The entire coastline is being destroyed. What we are saying, let's now be sustainable. Let's mine in a very sustainable manner, and that is the vision. And through sustainability, develop the state, establish industries. For example, we are cutting away the sand. Not every sand you dig up is used for building. Some sands are adopted. Some of them are glass sand that are adopted for the development of the glass. I can see a piece of glass right there. That screen you're looking at is from the sand. Some are adopted, and the quality, you have so much of it in the state, but everything is being abused and cutted away here and there. Some are being used for building. Some are actually being moved to a place like Uwili, where you have a glass plant. Why don't we have that glass plant in Anambra State? So that's the vision. Let's begin to think inwards. Bring these things back and use them to develop the state. So our vision is that, by and large, the mineral resources we have in the state will be tied to industrialization for export to generate capital, which will now help the state in addressing other revenue, fund requiring. Then for those who are doing mining, ensure that the mining is done in a very sustainable manner. Respect the environment, respect the community, enhance the quality of life of the community where the mining is going on, and then ensure so that all laws of the land are obeyed. You have a mining license, you pay royalty to the federal government, from where the state government gets its 13% derivation, and then ensure that the license is acquired in a very, very transparent manner. Licenses have to be transparent. It's the federal government that issues licenses for mining, not state. But the state has a responsibility to ensure that while executing the privileges granted to you by the licenses, you do not destroy the environment and kill people. Especially if a state like Anambra State. Very small land mass, erosion is cutting away much, gulling is taking away much. We have the smallest landmark in the state. We're supposed to be the second next to Lagos. But by and large, because of environmental degradation of the state, we have the smallest land mass. So you drive along the roads in the state, you see what is happening. So part of the vision is, let's go ahead and do mining. The state is not telling people shouldn't do mining, but we must go ahead and do mining, but it must be in a very sustainable manner. And we must follow the rules of the game, internationally acceptable rules. And the communities where you're mining must give you consent. You must also respect their norms. And you must also come back and say to them, hey, I'm cutting away this from you, I'm taking this away from you. This is give back for you. We should have a medical center that is functional. You should have street lights. You should have water running. You should have the students, you have scholarship to go to school. And these are all what we call CSR. You must go back to these communities and you must have their consent. You don't just go, and if you're damaging the roads, you must tell us how do you remediate. You must have remedial policies. So part of what is that we are going to lead by example. We're going to go into mining, we're going to acquire our own assets, but we're going to let people know this is the way it is done. And that is why all the assets we've acquired, we went through all the processes, geological survey, geological evaluation, all feasibility, then apply to the federal government for license. We have like about 10, all the assets we have so many of them, and we started by first enumerating the mining mineral resources of the state. So I can tell you of it, tell me your village, I'll tell you what you can find there. Because we've enumerated it, brought it up in form of a map, the first time we have a mineral resources map of Anambra State, based on foot trotting, ground trotting. We went everywhere. It wasn't easy in some places. We had to encounter all kinds of people, there are those who believe they're above the law. But we ended up succeeding and producing this map. It was funded, supported by the solution governor of Soludo, and then we came back and said, so let's now say which is which. We now evaluated and said these are the most important ones. And now this is where we are now. We are developing those ones. We've gone into Kaolin, we're developing Kaolin. We are now on bentonite. Then nobody would believe that we have bentonite in this state. Yeah, people don't realize, some of the people who are even digging with some Lebanese and so on illegally, never realize that they're enriching other people while remaining poor. So this is where we are now, and the vision is that at the end of the day, all the mineral resources we have in this state, we will use them to industrialize and use them. Even if we do export, we must export them in the quality that generates the appropriate capital, not the one you cut in a truck and throw away, and people carry and go and you take away something from us at $1. bring it back into Nigeria at $10. We want to take it away at that $10 and bring in $10 into Anambra State and develop the state. Create employment for the community, as we are already doing in places where we are operating. Enhance social value, social life. And maybe we'll get to a point where we'll discuss how far we've gone and what we've done. But that's the vision.
Okay, we're still moving on. We're still speaking with Professor Charles Ofoegbu. We're talking about progress in the solid mineral sector here in Anambra State. And let's talk economic transformation. In the area of economic transformation, how can you say that the solid minerals and energy resources, how have they contributed in transforming the economy of the states so far?
Well, natural resources, by and large, drive economic transformation and drive the economy of any environment. That is why you see nations go to war because of natural resources. It also comes and brings its own negative. Whatever you find, like there's a saying, those of us who are in the industry say, find a black gold and you found crisis. You see the Niger Delta was going on there. Again, it goes. That's another side of resources. You find resources, by and large, to some extent, you find problems. But you find resources and you use it in a sustainable manner, you find development. So the economic transformation of the state, for example, I'll give you by example. If you take a trip from here to Ofoegbu, before what people knew Ofoegbu area was for trucks carrying what you call kaolin. The kaolin trucks. You see so many trucks. Notice you don't see so many of them anymore passing through Oka. It's because it's being regulated now. Then we now move into Ofoegbu. We now decide, what do we do with this kaolin? The governor says to me, Prof, Anambra State Solid Company, show what this could be used in a very sustainable manner. So we acquire an asset there. One of our assets there. What do we do next? We decided to set up a kaolin processing plant. As I speak now, we've completed the plant in a few months. We started work on it sometime in September, October. It is ready. It is producing, ready for commissioning, but we are now deciding to even go into the market. So that same 1 ton of kaolin, maybe, which they carry in the truck and damage our roads, and you see, for 1 naira, we are processing to a point where that same 1 ton of kaolin could give you 10 times the value. One, we've created employment. Go to Ofoegbu. You see street lights there now. You see water circulated to them there. You see the community, the employment, or the staff who are employed there. We've advertised also for non-Indigenous, must not be some even non-Anambra who are qualified because it's a highly technical area. But there are some employments that are targeted at that area and the catchment area. You can see the community, you pass through there, they say Soludo is working. And nobody believes that you can have such an industry going. And it's going to be, it's not something that will die because the resources, the raw materials, we're not taking the raw materials from Sokoto or from London or from anywhere. The raw materials is just next door to the plant. We mine from there. And how do we again encourage the people? The locals that have been abused, their labor have been abused. People use them to be digging, carrying wheelbarrows and loading tippers and so on. What have we done? We constitute them into mining cooperatives. I will say to them, we are setting up an industry that when we were kicking you out of business. We are going to turn you into mining cooperatives. You are going to mine in a sustainable manner, healthy manner, life-saving manner, but then we're creating a market for whatever you produce. We own the asset, we have the license. They go in there, get it, bring it to the factory, we'll take it off you, pay you, and you go and look after your family. We have sustained those families, and they're very happy. We call them mining cooperatives. And they're very happy. And it's provided for in the Mining Act. But then, before now, who cares about that? The governor has said, take this money, set up these cooperatives. Let's keep those same people who are going underground and dying. Let's keep them busy. But show them how to do it and do it right. And then for some of them, we identify can be useful in the factory. We have already employed. Some are being trained as operators, machine operators, and so on. This is part of how the economy, the turnaround effect is that the economy, how it will boost the economy in state. Part of what we are producing, Standard Organization of Nigeria has gone and seen it and say, hey, wait a minute, this is qualified for ISO 9001. So you can even export it. So rather than the government already said, I'm not taking any loan from anybody abroad or anything. Instead, we are now going to use our resources to generate foreign exchange and bring it back to the state and use it in the state. That's only for kaolin. Same thing is happening now for bentonite. Some of you may not know what bentonite is. You don't drill a well or oil well or water without bentonite. Even the makeups some of you are using, some component of bentonite is in it. No matter the quantity. Anambra is blessed with it. The only companies in this country import it. The volumes we have, we cannot even meet the requirements of the off-takers. And now we've identified it in different parts of the state. We've acquired the licenses for it, and now we are proceeding with the processing. Process for water-based, process for oil-based, process for pharmaceutical, process for cosmetics. So the women there at Acharago that have been going underground because bentonite occurs in who you see wells. These women crawl in there and call out with one little quantity, a Lebanese or an Indian or a Chinese will somewhere get it. We say no. You become a mining cooperative. You become self-employing. When you produce it, we'll take it off you and we'll process it in your state, in your hometown there. And once we process it, we ship it out abroad or to the Nigerian oil companies will even take everything you produce. Then we will now go back to kaolin. We ask ourselves, where do we do what they use? Antacid. This antacid you are taking, philibic or magnesia, all those things, they are kaolin based. You don't find the right quality of kaolin everywhere in the world. But luckily, guess what? We found out that we have huge deposits of pharmaceutical grade, medicinal grade kaolin. And so Mr. Governor said, Prof, phase 2 of the processing plant at Ofoegbu, pharmaceutical kaolin. And as I speak, we're even still in the process of setting it up, but as I speak now, pharmaceutical firms are saying we want to be the sole of takers. Because rather than importing it, we now have it home. And they say, where did you find it? I say, well, that's why we were set up. We have professionals. We went into the food, and we decided, based on background knowledge, I told my team, go there. I think from what we know, we're going to find medicinal class kaolin. Go to the lake, the cave, go here, go there, we'll find it. We have found it. And Mr. Governor said, commence the process of processing it. We're on that process now. He says, okay, let's now get investors to join us. Even yesterday or 2 yesterday, we were meeting with investors from London who want to now join us, partner us. So it's a big thing happening now in solid minerals development. And there are many other solid minerals in the state, industrial class. Because we are blessed with industrial class solid mineral, which is a good thing. Not just being blessed with laterite or being blessed with, we are lucky. The things we don't find several places, God just put it together for us here. But now Soludo comes and says, wait a minute, let's now raise the money we need for the state from within the state. That's why you go to Umeri. I don't know who's from Umeri here. Little will you know that you have one of the things that you cannot drill an oil well without. You cannot drill without a gravel pack. The last process in drilling is the gravel packing. But we have it. All companies are bringing it from overseas. We went to Abuja for an exhibition. And even the Jordan PC, everybody they were shouting, where is it from? We say, this is gravel pack from Anambra State. And we are now going to process it. We're going to sort it, we're going to wash it, and now we're going to use magnetic separation and gravity separation, pack it up and give it to Shell. When we drill a well or in Anambra Basin anywhere, drill a well, take our own gravel and pack. Don't bring it from overseas. People are going to pick those gravels. You're going to employ them. So I can't end. That is why the name of the company, Solid Minerals Development Company, not Solid Minerals Mining Company. We are going to develop our solid minerals, give it value, local and international value, and use it to industrialize the state, and use it also to create employment, create wealth for the state and for the citizens of the state. The same thing, even the sand, ironstone we have. We even have lignite, which the federal government has said, we are not going to give you the license to mine it until you convince us that you want to generate power with it. Lignite is like coal, it's more powerful than coal. It runs all the way from Onitsha Even some of you may even be stepping on it without knowing. You step some parts of your community if you are from Nnewi and you are feeling heat. Or some parts of some parts of Orifte. Many people don't know what is going on. They say or the heat on them. Oh, it's the lignite that is radiating energy, radiating heat. And what have we done? We've mapped it all and we've acquired, taking a lease, exploration lease of it. The federal government is saying this is a strategic mineral. Thank God you have identified it in your state, but we need to have a contract with the state to use it to generate power. And trust Governor Soludo, we are getting there. Get to a point where the federal government will say, okay, and we'll get it's capital intensive, but we can generate enough energy, enough power from that lignite. It's like coal, but it burns better than coal. It may be here burning no smoke. Somebody from Nnewi will tell you there was a time people's legs were burnt at Nnewi, or you may have heard the story. People went to the farm and came out with blisters. Why? Because somebody was building and tampered with the trend of the lignite. So the heat came near the surface and all the farmers on that hill. I had to go there. We wanted to tell them. So we say, wait a minute, this is on the lignite belt. This is what is happening. Because they thought it was something, one God is sending heat to the surface. And so we believe we are reaching it. We also do from Onitsha, from the lignite, goes through Orifte, Ofoegbu, Nnewi, and heads towards Umuze. Very well, a lot of it. So many of such industrial minerals we have. Now, that is the solution agenda. We have identified all of them. If what it is, now we have enumerated all of them, have them in map. We have even, I can give the coordinates of anyone I want. If we decide, I can tell you where they're digging laterite today in Oko. I can tell you where they're digging it in Ofuma. I can tell you where they're doing, I can tell you whether it is sustainable, whether it should continue, whether it is. And then, so we know everything. Having done all that, we are now selecting those that will consider of industrial value, short-term industrial value to the state. And then we may end up growing and growing, but for the meantime, we decided to concentrate on a few. And to save the society, the governor took a decision. Because the hazard, if you drive from here to Onitsha, see what the people digging laterites are doing. Some of you in your communities, some people in their community, you see houses collapsing. Some schools are collapsing. And the governor said, wait a minute, I don't issue mining licenses in the federal government. They are also entitled to royalty, 13% derivation. Are we really getting it? Are these miners licensed? Federal government is also licensed, and they are not licensed, and they're digging up everywhere. And he said, wait a minute, I'll give an executive order. What did he say? We must reform mining in the state. Let's call everybody to come in and tell us if you are a miner, show us evidence that you are licensed to be a miner. Show us evidence that you are paying royalty from where the state base is owned. Show us evidence that you've done EIA, environmental impact assessment. Show us evidence that you have CSR, community social responsibility. What have you done for the community? You are destroying a school. A school is on the verge of, some bridges in Anambra on the verge of collapsing. And he said, I will set up a committee to reform this. As fate to have it, he said, Prof, you be the chairman. And so we are doing that. That is why you don't see people digging laterite again on Onitsha Road. What is all of them are abandoned? We stopped them. You can't continue that way. Many of them had no licenses. We don't issue licenses. We never said we are licensing any miner. What we are saying is that provide us evidence that you have the license issued by the federal government. Provide evidence that you have done corporate social responsibility. Provide evidence of environmental impact assessment. Provide us evidence that you are paying tax, appropriate tax to the state. Once you have all those things, what does the governor say? He approves clearance, not license. He will say, I hereby approve clearance to continue your mining. And when we did it, what happened? Out of over 10,000 people claim to be miners, we've only been able to clear about 20, which means the rest are illegal and are destroying the system because he did it in overriding public interest, not in a selfish interest. And by and large, we're getting to a point where we're mining in a sustainable manner. I do hope that we'll continue that way.
Okay. Akama Juju to address issue of this environmental concern. Mana, it was a gonna badge jogina and Yankoa. So, to find the people, what in in terms of policy or regulatory challenges, will hinder investment and growth in that mineral sector. Actually, going there, and if you can add to Matumobalo, we join Jikun, balance, then will more success, especially in your vision, the mineral sector.
Yes, obviously we have challenges. Some of the challenges are man-made. Some are challenges that are associated with the sector. Sectoral challenges always arise because you have community restiveness, which you must try to avoid. Also, challenges arise from the fact that there are people who tend not to want the best, but they want to have just a selfish desire. Some communities will go in. Somebody will call on the phone and tell some youths, don't let them go in.
Okay.
Because he may have been stopped from acquiring such an asset, and he keeps it and begins to hawk it, looking for where to sell it to. Then we do have the challenges again of we need to seek a balance. Family, the landowners, the community, the local government, and obviously the state, and then the federal government. There has always been this problem. The federal government at times will say, well, states are interfering with mining. Then you have some local government channel will tell you, yeah, we are supposed to be in charge, not to say we are local, we are autonomous. Then again, you have within families, you see, you have family restiveness again over who actually should share this, who actually gets the benefit, who doesn't get. You must know how to play. The Mining Act provides for everybody to be a player. The Mining Act provides for a role by the state that owns the land. The state gives you, the land is in the state. If you destroy the state, it's the responsibility of the state to repair that road. Those are roads. The communities that own the community, the traditional ruler, knows who exactly, when you say you're a traditional ruler, you know the tenets of the community, you know the traditions of your community. There are areas you don't allow people to call them, they're very rich in gold or anything, but they are not mineable. The traditional ruler is supposed to say, no, I will give you a consent here because this area for our community is sacred. Then within the owner of the land, the family must be accommodated. They will say, come, we welcome you. And then you provide for them. Then, of course, the other challenges, the fiscal challenge.
Okay.
Mining is an expensive business. Extractive industry is an expensive business. If you're to do it in the proper way, it's expensive. And that is why you find that people are doing it is a cut and, just dig whatever they want to do. But the way we are doing it is expensive. But I must say, the governor has in a very articulated manner been backing us. We are not moving too fast. He knows where he's going to. And when he called me in and said, come, set this thing up, he knows that it's very capital intensive. He knows also the problems associated with it. But he says, let's take it one step at the end. But remember, we are not borrowing. We're not going to. Banks are always happy to give you money if it's in extractive industry. When I started, some banks were coming to me, we'll give you 100 million, we'll give you this. Once they notice that we have the licenses, they are prepared to say, come, take this money. But I know that we can still raise that money. Investors are coming now. We've just had a meeting with 2 investors yesterday who want to get involved. They are fighting over who is going to get involved with the fast-oil class. They plant it up, but it's as if people are fighting. Paint manufacturers came the other day saying that they want to partner. Paint manufacturers association that they will take over the plant, the products, everything. So we are going it that way, but it's expensive. When you go into the field, you go with 3 pickups. The cost of fuel on each day for the field is quite exorbitant, but I must say, the governor has been giving me, my team, as much support as the resources of the state can guarantee. But that's one key problem with the extractive industry. We are still talking about solid minerals. When you now go to the petroleum and the energy, then you now begin to see why they call it the big boys game. It's not a game for small boys.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. ọ dị mma dịka aka nọ n'ihe mmemme ask the commissioner anyị ga-emepe igwe okwu ụgbọnụ maka ndị nke na-ege anyị ntị nwere ife a na-atụnye ịma na oyibo niile na-azụkwa n'ebe a bụ maka ife niile a na-egwupụta na na-enye ego na Anambra steeti etu esi eje wee na-ana ọnya ka anyị na-ekwu okwu ọkwa ịghọtago so na ị ga-etinye ọnụ maka na nwere ike ọnwa ajụjụ na-achọ ịjụ ma ọ ka iwe ghọta ife a na-eme kpaa anyị n'akara ekwentị 0706 538-1320 0706 538-1320 ịkpọ anyị egwu anyị afa gị na ebe isi wee na-akpọ ka iwe nwee ike wee tinye ọnụ na ihe mmemme anyị. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can I find a sabo?
I'm
from our organization.
So I love your program, Honorable Commissioner.
Yeah.
You will live long.
Dalu, my brother.
You are a kind of person needed in our society.
Dalu.
You know your field, that.
Deme. Ofoegbu Okano. And the network. Keep the calls coming. Point at 0706 538-1320. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Commissioner, I'm like
Dalu, my brother.
I'm it's my
Okay, Zee from Awada. Wagani.
Please, I'm not in the power of the pressure. I'm not a good solution governor.
Deme.
No, the pressure, I had you. Amen. Because side they have an occasion, and they are forever minerals are for there. I cannot even go from that or if the puzzle to open the side they have to wake up for this very areas.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Okay, yes. In here, Okija. Actually, this Kylie na if you're going to do Kylie and the Guer, Nabun, I don't go here, Manokija. But I'm the Johnny Guer. I will lease that place, but I'm going for the Jackie Beba, who's ready. Yes, every solid minerals, Mukbo. So now, Okija, my hair, running along that road, even the late night time, a little bit of it, by your to 120 na Okija. We transfer, does it. Malilu, Mosunu, Honey deposits. Manifu go Boris will play Bama. If I born what you said, you labor, Ejaba, Yaja, Lara, Macandol, for Hana Lara, no fear Haji. It must be your idea, Lara, I can do no good, give you good weather, Lara, Pusigo. Monoblood or Odi, and all the Odi, and the assets are acquired, but also Jamdine is unmineable in the sense of security and so on. Mana omo the kwa.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, my brother. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You can mention health commissioner.
What method do? Okay.
I'm not a commissioner.
Okay.
Mana here. Don't deliver a good message. You wrong way. After I'm hardship for your company, you don't change the command.
Maybe.
In a deal, la radio, station called Hamara, it uses the major language. Of course, you are on us. Come here, because I'm I feel like I want to. Every time all the way down, I'm going to assume you got what I will be asking. So every time you are down, so I will be. Oh, I got you, man. I Jesus.
But say come on to nzu clay handing them full class of choose nke bụ industrial nke industrial ụdị ebe ọ bụ na ịna ọdụ gị na-eme pop dị na ọka elu nte lejezi penti anyị tere n'aja gị ọka outside ọka oli na na-ekwu nzu ka eji eme ya ya ma eji apụta ma toilet seat a ma taịlụ awụsa na ala ọka olin ọka nyebe eji anụ ọgụ ndị aji anụ ọgụ ya na Anambra maka Chukwu agosighị ya enweghị ọka nkụ a na-ebu ya eje ma lokoja a na-ebu ya na mmiri si na River Niger na-agbada na-aba na-eje Ajaokuta a na-ebu ya na-ehead towards Rivers State ebe niile Chukwu goziri anyị ife anyị na-ekwu bụ kama a ga-ebu ya na-eje na-arụ ceramic plant na ọkigwe na-arụ na Ajaokuta esikwa Ajaokuta butekwa ya na Ọnịcha market anyị na-ego ka anyị nwee na be anyị ka ọ dịrị anyị mma na be anyị n'afọ Jizọs Kraịst onye nwe anyị.
Hello, Commissioner. Good afternoon. I'm Susan Leroy from Sofian.
Gani?
Kenere gị too much n'ihe nke anyị kọwapụtara. Amaghị m agba m shọt ọ dị biko wepụzie n'ụlọ n'ọrụ ebe ahụ ka esoro mmega mepere anyị anya eziokwu onye isi ọcha ka mbụ imepere anyị anya bikos mgbe ụfọdụ a na-ekwu some resources dịba edịba ihe ama nke bụ resources enwekwara ike ọ bụrụ na ị na-amachi ihe nwa ọkpa na-adị makwụdịgị onye ọzọ biko daalụ
mining cooperative a na-set up n'Isofia.
Akụkọ m fọrọ aja na-abịa daalụ.
A na-set off n'Isofia. Adị onye na-arụ ọrụ n'ọfịs mgbe n'Isofia ya nkenye ọrụ ime establish.
Oh yes.
So very soon nke a ọ bụrụ na ị nọ n'ụlọ ọ bụrụ na ị chọrọ ijoin mining ịkwadobe ka ị dere afọ ka ijoin ya.
Kachalụ mmanụ ọlụ abago. Hello.
It's only Comrade Ofoegbu back from our.
Okay, go on.
So, Honorable Commissioner, you are doing very well. God will be your guide. Even we go about, you made mention of some communities in which if they want to acquire a land, they will meet their traditional rural the community. Like our open. What is happening currently? They say that governor needed some hectares of land. And it happened that they didn't take it only to people, the set of people, the villagers that have the land, and went ahead to meet the PG. And the PG did not involve even the village. So on such situation, what will you people do?
Okay. Thank you.
Anything we to do with mining, you know, any mining site, any site obuna. The starting point will na abata obodo. Ajo kilonisi family, oya ka you see on the bilosi na family we na abago before we na nke PG, we je na nke igwe. Ajo kilo family na family na. Today be the head of the family. I meeting. I na boya interaction, I na boya stakeholder meet with the family. Engagement. Community engagement. I engage with the family. When my energy say the bonus, okay. Yeah, Kachano, yeah, with the one I judge my care with them. Or can they see the Rosina? No, I do Chileno. I will go to for that. I because I have a or see it can one do family the judge. This is what I can also. And I just go region below them. Mogodu Kai for Mogodu na Charamantage. Every to be sure the value is but when did the Hama Manobudu, did the Hama Mandina Abuja Joha, Onya Kuku, the Kukana fan the Bono, before I say Araponia, Munamiji Port Harcourt, the PG or port, before everywhere. They know this in Kawa. It would be supposed PG, I got another call with the family. Yeah, traditional ruler, the custodian of the culture of the town, the custodian of the traditional ownership of the town, but the traditional ruler, while the political custodian with the PG, and every consent form, the owner, landowners are signing, owners are signing, so also here. aka na obi onye dị in charge of ịma village ihe na-epe assign ya onye nke assign si ahụrụ gbagorozie PGA wee bịa aka ndị bichazi aka traditional rule so stamp ya traditional rule ọfọdụ ya pụtasịrị pụọ maọbụ na family ya na ọbụrụ ha nwa na ebe omebi ome si anyị chere anyị bịa mbọsị ọzọ ka ya kpọọ ndị nwe ebe a na ọ na-ese okwu nwe nke anyị ga-eji asị na ọ na-esekwa okwu anyị cherucha ka m gwazie onye nwere iju maka ọkịja mbọsị anyị jere ọkịja anyị nọ na junction na-ajụ si chere onye bụ onye ga-asa anyị nere akwụkwọ abụọ gị the old man ifo si livemen mụ na chiabakwa ọka bịa mụrụ onye nke ya bụ obi nke ya ga-agwa mba ebe ahụ ndị nke ọzọ ama mbọtụ ma na-apụta that shows you n'okenye ahụ anyị jikwuru agadi anyị kpọchara anyị jikwa okenye jekwuru agadi nwoke anyị fụ ọgwa anyị nke bụ eziokwu anyị banyekwa moto anyị ka nabagodu wee nachiata wee jewa na ma lokal gọọmenti wee je na kọmishọna wee jụọ esi ya kedu onye ji rekọdụrụ m pepa anyị na ya ga-akpa nkata ọsịzi anyị na onye unu ga-ejefu anyị wee jefu onye anwa so na ọ ka esi eme ya mana ewekwa ndị PG ga-apụta ihe abụrụ nke mana hụama na Chukwu na-ekpekwa mmadụ ikpe o mana anyị na-eme ya properly anyị na-eme adịghị anyị na-akpọ stakeholder town hall meeting a ga-eme ya mee na enwe nke a ga-eme na obi dị na-agụ ebe a na-adị nwee nke a ga-eme na local gọọmenti so onye si n'ọha ọnwa ọpụta dị ekwu ose na nyefe na ọ bụrụ n'ụwa we have that and the law mining act provided for it then EIA corporate the socio-economic survey all those pictures got in at the report MSA was a meeting everyone kind of was stakeholder kind of was where everybody got them a commissioner of environment commissioner from car we on a gun was ever kind of we be who sue our corporation will be in.
All right, so finally, Prof, in Anambra regarding your ministry's efforts in advancing mineral resources development in the states. In 30 seconds, let's go.
Well, do you think that go for fine, general fees in for the all that Aquanji field and the Marapochi Amazon like theater, Nachoima, if I did not the hackett, even do the letter, committee the letter, Civico Bia, no, if you mark and by Bacon Verifa, Cobaran. On I can free form I can be or just last year I can be ban office in September within this time I can be solid mineral which I could petroleum time again and petroleum kapunko manatata or solid minerals can kumakia maybe a football commissioner we will concentrate on petroleum and energy
we will do that
about two different subsectors.
Yes. Yeah. I should
yes,
even on a no cattle on the yeah, man, is a Maroku, Sinandu Kubulu, Ekutesibo. Yes. Metier come on way to Kudela through solid minerals, scholarly the cost. Why I prefer Professor Ofoegbu, or the Lukum and I got Aliatua. Finally, workers in ABS, happy May Day and happy Workers' Day. Workers in Anambra, workers in Nigeria. Workers' Day celebration is ongoing now. Ekweme Square. I left the governor there. Okay. The governor loves you. That is why he was one of the first governors in Nigeria to pay minimum wage. But I want you to also know that Soludo is paying above the minimum wage of 70,000. You know why I say so? When you check your total take home, it is not less than 70,000 naira for the least paid worker. What does that mean? It means that if you add your tax and other deductibles, the total salary for the individual per month is well over 80,000. So it is not even proper to say that Soludo is paying minimum wage. No, he's not paying minimum wage. He is paying above minimum wage. And not only that, there is a particular amount he added to the pensioners. This is not mentioned. These constitute evidence, very clear evidence of a love for Anambra workers. Please keep praying for the governor, keep supporting the solution government, and help us to succeed with the current security intervention and architecture. Operation Udogache and Agune Chamber. Help them to succeed. Be the change you want to see. If you see something, say something. Call 5111 And if your intelligence is useful to us, you will earn as much as 5 million naira for helping the security in Anambra to succeed. Dalu, I'm learning.
Ya unu nganti unu afuna igwe na-ekwu okwu nketa dị na Anambra steeti niile dị ji Prọfesọ Charles Ofoegbu wee gbaa onye ọbụla ntị n'ụdị pụrụ iche ona nweburu onye mma na mineral resources dị gbanyụ na Anambra steeti ọkwọnụ Prọfesọ Charles Ofoegbu oke nwa mụrụ n'okobi n'obodo ọzọ bụrụ nyopụrụ ya ọ na-akụpụ na afụ mmọnwụ enyopụ efe ndị a niile ọkacha bentonite barafos and the cowrings gbanyụ na Anambra steeti ya mere unu anụghị ife gọọmenti na-ekwu ụmụnne m ma jụọ ọnụ soro udo ebidogolu na mbụ wee pịawa agụ ogbe azụ chụọ economic crisis ọsọ site n'ikpo ndị nkụzi n'ọrụ wee kwago ego na-akwụ ndị mmadụ n'ụgwọ ọnwa dịka Honorable Commissioner Mefọ siri welukwu etuwa ka ọ dị unu fụrụ dista ịgbara onye ọbụla ọnụ ya na-asụ mmanụ unu amalụ na ndị nkụzi ekpori n'ọrụ ọfụ ha rijuru afọ akpara esi baraba onye ọbụla o weburu ife ihe Chineke na ekene ụmụnne m ndị be anyị nya gazie n'ọfọ
daalụ ọkamba na ndị Igbo daalụ.
All right, this is where we draw the curtain on the program, Ask the Commissioner. And just to remind you that the program makes a return next week, Thursday at this time. Happy Workers' Day to all the workers in Anambra State and, of course, Nigeria. I am Priska Wonko. We'll see you next week.